All right, guys, good morning. Today I'm going to do a really quick video on camouflage and mimicry. You guys should be pretty familiar with this, so it should be pretty easy for you. Darwin did discover that one of the greatest adaptations that an organism can have is the ability to hide in plain sight, which is camouflage, and then mimicry. It's kind of like acting sort of like another organism and getting the same protection as they do. Okay, so obviously being able to hide increases your chances of survival. Okay, so let's get started here. You guys know that camouflage is an adaptation and it's basically blending in with your surroundings. Okay, in this picture here, there is actually a little cuttlefish here. I don't know if you can see it, and it blends in nicely with these shells on the bottom. Okay, now as we do these, I do want you guys to think about it. Now, humans have one of the best eyesights there are. Okay, so do I expect you to be able to see them? Of course, but I need you to think about the predators of these organisms and how it might make it a little bit more difficult for them. Okay, all right, so here are some examples, and some of these are great. This is a toad. You see it here. Blends in very well. I really like this one. This is a leafy sea dragon, which is a seahorse, and these fins are actually his fins, and they look like the sargassum seaweed that he lives in. Okay, so remember what we said, adaptations are only good in your habitat. If he was out there floating in the open ocean with none of these leaves around, obviously he'd be a sitting duck. He'd be a target. Okay, so keep that in mind. Here's a hyena blended in well. There is a grasshopper here blended in well. This is called a hognose snake. Very good in wooded areas, but not grassy areas, right? So if we were to bring him and put him on the grass, he would not blend in very well. And then I don't know if you can see it behind my face. There's a lizard that's camouflaged there very well. Okay, all right, some couple other examples. Here is the clownfish in the sea anemone. In this picture, I don't know if you can see it, there's a tiny frog right here. This is a walking stick bug. And then, let me see if I can move me here. Okay, there is a baby quail right there, camouflaged in nicely. Okay, now this one up here is one of my favorites, and this one goes to camouflage and mimicry, which is our next topic. This is a caterpillar form of a particular moth, and this is actually his butt end. His head's up here. So it looks like this, if you're just glancing by, right, if you look at it really quickly, it looks like a little snake with its mouth open, right? Two eyes and a mouth, and it's actually the butt end of a caterpillar. So if a bird tries to eat that, he's going to think, oh, that's a snake. I can't beat him and ignore it. Or if he's a little brave, he might even try to chop the head off of the caterpillar, but then it would only be his tail and he could still survive that. Okay? All right, so the one that is more interesting is actually mimicry. You may have had a kid mimic you when you were young, right? Copy everything that you do. But what it is you basically look or act like another organism to reap the benefits of them. Okay, so if you look quickly at this picture on the screen, it kind of looks like an owl, right? Big eyes, even a beak. Okay, this is actually a moth, and it is the adult form of this particular one here. So that's pretty cool. Okay, the guy's holding him upside down, right? So what they do at night or day, I don't know if they're active at night or day, they'll sit on the branch or the tree upside down, and then it looks like it's an owl. And if you're a smaller bird or whatever, you will be afraid of that owl and you will ignore him. Okay? All right, so here's an example of one that is actually around North Carolina. One of these, the top one is a king snake, which is very valuable to have in ecosystems, and the one on the bottom right is actually a coral snake. Okay, notice they have the same red, black, and yellow colors, okay, but the king snake is not venomous and the coral snake is. So some Boy Scout came up with the poem, red next to black, a friend to Jack, red next to yellow will kill a fellow. Well, if you look at that poem, it works, right? Red next to black won't hurt you. Red next to yellow will kill you, okay? But the point is, guys, if these two snakes cross in front of my path, I'm not going to sit there and take the time to be like, what was that poem again? Right? I'm going to see the red and yellow warning colors, and I'm going to get the heck out of there, okay? And that's exactly what the other animals in nature would do too. Okay, another example of, let me move it here. Okay, another example of mimicry are these viceroy and monarch butterflies. These are common in North Carolina. Monarch butterflies are known for their appearance, right? The orange and black and white spots. According to scientists, I've never eaten one, the monarch butterflies taste very bitter. So a bird might, or a dog might try to eat it once and it won't do it again. They have some bitter chemical in their mouth that makes them like salivate and all kinds of things. So things don't eat it. Okay, now this one over here, I know you can tell that it looks very different. It doesn't even have a double set of wings, but the coloration is similar. And remember that other organisms aren't as smart as us. Okay, so if they remembered eating this butterfly and it turned their mouth inside out, they're not going to attempt to eat this butterfly. Okay, because they think the same thing's going to happen. But according to scientists, this guy right here is very tasty. Okay, so think about that for a minute too for mimicry. If these two butterflies didn't live in the same habitat, his coloration would do him no good. Okay, so it depends on where you are for it to be effective. All right, so it's not just animals all the time. I want to give you this example of a bee and an orchid. This is actually a funny story. I don't know if you can tell, this is an orchid, but do you see this down here? That is a petal of that flower, and it actually looks like a fuzzy little bee. Well, this bee thinks this is a bee, so what do you think he's going over there to the orchid for? Yeah, it's for mating purposes, okay? So he or she thinks he's mating, and actually all he's doing is helping that orchid pollinate. So he thinks he's reproducing, but he's actually helping the flower reproduce. That's funny. Okay, what about this? First glance, looks like an ant, right? But if you count the legs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is actually a type of spider. And what it does is it goes into like a colony of ants, and the ants thinks an ant, and it welcomes it inside. And then if you notice, it has like pincher-like mouth here. He goes in and he starts slaying all the ants, and he eats them, and there you go. Okay, all right, camouflage or mimicry here. What do you think? There's a baby quail. I definitely go with camouflage for that one. Okay, wow, I can't even see it this second. What do you think? Oh, here she is, praying mantis. Okay, camouflage, good. All right, how about this one? This is a leaf. Here's your particular moth here. This is mimicry, okay? Because obviously he's not a leaf, right? He's getting the benefit of looking like that leaf. Okay, how about this one? This is a katydid or a leaf bug. It looks like he's actually carrying that leaf, but it's part of his body. I think this one can go either way, but most scientists classify that as mimicry because he's acting like a leaf. Okay, this one here is camouflage. Here's your bug. Here's the other leaves. Okay, and you guys are probably asking, well, why does he have those orange dots up there? It gives him away. Well, guys, the other gender of the species has to be able to recognize him. Okay, so that's how they can actually find him or her. All right, this is a cool story too. Everybody knows what these are. It's a wasp, right? Stinging. This is a cyprid fly. Can't sting at all. Okay, but he has the same yellow coloration, black stripes. So that would be mimicry. Things avoid him because they think he can sting him. Okay, we already did the example of the king snake and the coral snake. That is mimicry. Okay, and then the last one I have for you today is actually the flounder. This is called a peacock flounder, and there's another one right here. So that is obviously camouflage, right? When you guys go flounder gigging, don't you have to wait to see them move, right? To see if you can actually gig them. Okay, so that's all I had for you on camouflage and mimicry. I'm going to find an activity for you to do with this, and know that this is one of the greatest adaptations that an organism has to survive. Okay, hope you guys have a great day.